Hey, awesome people. Welcome, Mr. C here, and am I pumped to have you with us today because we are starting a brand new concept. And that new concept, I'm sure you already see it on the screen, but it is, drum roll please. Yes, sir, we are talking about fractions. And before we even get started, I'm going to go ahead and give you a fair warning. Get yourself a brand new notebook. You're going to need something brand new to be able to keep track of all of the notes and all the example problems we're going to be doing in this series, because there is so much information on fractions, and there's so much information that's really important for you to know. This video here is our very first one in our fractions series as we continue in this math journey of making math understandable and challenging. So, if you haven't, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. Like I said, join us on this math journey. We're making math understandable and challenging. Join us, click like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. Find me on there as well. Today, we are going to be talking about the second grade learning standards. You can see that right at the top here, second grade learning standards. And I've put two different standards up here. Well, I'll take that back. I've got two different groups of standards. I've got the Common Core standards and I've got Oklahoma standards. And the reason I put Oklahoma's on here is because Oklahoma has not adopted the Common Core, but you're going to see, and even states that don't use the Common Core, it's really similar. Okay, so what we are going to be doing with second grade, bear with me here. We are going to be partitioning circles and rectangles into 2, 3, or 4 equal shares. Describe the shares using the words halves, thirds, half of, a third of, etc. And describe the whole as 2 halves, 3 thirds, 4 fourths. Recognize that equal shares of identical wholes need not have the same shape. Oh man, all right. We're going to break that apart. All right, don't worry. Okay, Oklahoma's down here. You're going to see it's very similar. Identify the parts of a set and area that represent fractions for halves, thirds, and fourths. Construct equal-sized portions through fair sharing, including length, set, and area models for halves, thirds, and fourths. That's a ton of words, and we're going to break it down to where it makes it really understandable and kind of let you get used to this whole fraction journey. Like I said, we've got a lot of information coming for you. We've got third grade. This is only one of the standards. We've got fourth grade standards. We've got fifth grade, and we're going to go all the way up to sixth grade. So we've got a lot of standards coming for you. For us today, this is part one of our second grade fraction series. Make sure you check out the other videos that will be dropping soon and click the like and subscribe button. Let's get started. All right, so let's get started with fractions. All right, let's get started with fractions. So as you can see on the screen here, I've got two different shapes. And like I always do before every video, before we really get started, I want to remind you about the importance of having the correct mindset when we do this. Make sure you have a growth mindset. And what we mean by that is make sure you're okay with the challenge. Make sure you're okay with struggling. This is going to be new stuff for some of us, and that's okay. Be okay with that. Grab yourself a whiteboard, grab yourself a pencil and paper, grab something like that. Draw these figures and work alongside of me. Don't beat yourself up if you miss a problem. Use that as an opportunity. Remember, we talk about you just don't know this yet. That yet piece is super important. You just don't know it yet. And that's why I'm here. I'm going to help you get through it. All right, so fractions. I've got two shapes on the screen. You can probably already guess what those shapes are because you know your shapes. Up here at the top, the orange shape, we've got a rectangle. And then my blue shape down here I've got as a circle. So, a fraction. What is a fraction? Well, we're going to get into that, but let me do something real quick. Let me draw on this rectangle a line. I was close to down the middle. Let me give it another shot. There we go. So I just drew a line right down the middle of this rectangle. Now, my question for you is, how many pieces are there now? Okay, before I drew this rectangle, you would probably say that this rectangle, there is one rectangle, right? You would say this is one rectangle. It's one hole. All right, I totally agree with you. Now, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to break this rectangle in half. And my question to you is, how many sections did I just break that rectangle into? How many sections did I just break this rectangle into? Well, let's look. I've got one section here and two sections here. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Are these sections the same size? Yeah, I know you're probably looking at it and be like, Mr. C, that doesn't look quite like they're the same size. All right, you're right. All right. I make mistakes. I'm not a pro, okay? But right here, if you look at the shape, I have broken it into two equal groups. Okay, I've got two equal groups. This group over here and this group over here. They're equal. They're the same amount. Okay, they're the same amount. Imagine that this rectangle was a cake. Imagine it was a cake. And this cake, we cut it right down the middle. And both sides of this cake are the same amount. Okay, that's kind of the way you can think about it. Let me do the same thing to the circle here. All right, if you look at this circle, we've got one hole. Now, I'm going to break this circle in half here. Or try to. There we go. That's pretty good. All right. So I have broken this circle into half. All right. And what I mean by that is that word half means that I have broken it right down the middle into two equal parts. Okay. I have broken it into two equal parts. Here's one part. Here's two parts. Same thing up here in this rectangle. Here's one part. Here's two parts. All right, that's kind of what I want you to understand first. First off, when we break a figure up into equal parts, that's going to help us get to this next step. Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's say that instead of breaking this rectangle into two sections, I broke this rectangle into this many sections. All right, how many sections did I just break that rectangle up into? Well, hopefully you're seeing three. Look up here. I've got one sections, two sections, three sections. And notice, they are all the same size. They're equal sizes. Every single one of these sections is an equal size. This is equal to this size. This is equal to this one, all right? Let me do the same thing down here on the circle. The circles are a little bit more tricky. I'm not going to lie to you. All right, let's see how I do. I messed that one up. Give me a second. There we go. There we go. Dang, that's pretty good. All right, now looking at the circle, how many sections do you see? Three sections. I've got one section, two sections, three sections. Notice they are all equal sizes. All right, that right there is going to be really important to understand. When we're going to be talking about these fractions, we're going to be talking about equal sizes. Okay, we're going to be talking about equal sizes. Okay, so I'm going to break this figure, this rectangle up again, and I want you to see how many sections I break it into. All right, taking a look at that rectangle there. How many sections did I break it into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sections. All right, this entire rectangle, all right, this entire rectangle is one whole. The entire thing is one whole. But what I have done is I have broken it up into 5 equal, I almost wrote 5 there, 5 equal groups. The whole thing is one whole. But what I have done is I have taken that one whole and I have broken it into 5 different groups. Okay, let me show you a little bit more. All right, so take a look on the screen here. I've got the rectangle, and I want you to look and see how many sections are inside this rectangle. So how many sections are there? You should be noticing that there are 1, 2, oh no, let me write it better. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 4 sections inside of here. Now, the question you need to ask yourself is, are these equal? Okay, are each of these sections an equal amount? Yes, they're equal. All right, and again, it may not be exactly right, but you get the point. These are all equal. They're all the same size. And what we have done here is we have created a fraction. Okay, we have created a fraction. So how many sections do we have here? 4. All right, we have 4. All right, so notice I have written my 4 right down here. Now, what I'm going to do is kind of build off of what you have been doing. All right. Now, how many sections? You said there were 4, so I put 4 sections down here. And now I'm going to color these in real quick. All right, I'm just going to color them in kind of quickly with a pinkish color. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, I colored them in pinkish color. Now, how many of those sections did I color in pink? How many of those sections did I color in pink? 4, right? So, would you agree that I colored in 4 out of 4 of them? Did I color in 4 out of 4? Yeah, I did. There were 4 sections total. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many did we color in? We colored in 4 out of the 4. So our fraction would look like this. 4 fourths is what they say. Can you say that? 4 fourths. That's a weird word. All right, fourths. 4 fourths. And 4 fourths is going to be equal to 1 whole. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. All right, we're going to talk about that here in a second. I want to put a circle up here on the screen. All right, take a look at this circle here. And how many sections do we have in this circle? How many sections do we have? 2 sections. Nice. We've got 2 sections. 1 section, 2 sections. Very good. Are they equal size? All right, are they both the same size? Take a look at them. Are they both the same size? Yes, they are. Nice job. All right, so both sections, 2 sections, they are equal sizes. So we have 2 sections. We're writing our fraction right now. So notice, however many sections we have goes on the bottom. And we're going to call that our denominator. And we're going to talk about that word a lot more later on, but I want you to hear it first. We're going to call the number on the bottom of a fraction a denominator. And that tells us how many sections do we have? How many equal groups do we have? Now, the number that we're going to write on top is how many would be like colored in. So let's say that I colored in this circle. All right, I'm going to color in this one. And I'm going to color in this one. So I colored in both of them, all right? So if I colored in both of them, however many I colored in, would be how many we have. And in this problem here, if both of them are colored in, that means that we have 2 colored in. So what this fraction here means, oh, I forgot to tell you. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. The bottom part of a fraction is called the denominator. Does anybody know what the top part of the fraction is called? It's called the numerator. The numerator. Can you say that word? Numerator? Again, we're going to talk about it a lot more later on. But what the numerator does is it tells you how many you actually have. So in the case here, we have 2. All right? We have 2 out of 2. Okay, that's what we have. All right? So what we're doing here is just trying to understand when we take a object like a square or a rectangle or a circle and we break it into equal sections, that's when we're starting to talk about fractions. All right, I want to show you one more on this video before we jump into more complex scenarios. Okay, let me give you another example here on the screen. All right, take a look at this figure I have up here on the screen. So I have a rectangle, and how many sections have I broken this rectangle into? So take a look. How many sections have I broken this rectangle into? I've broken it into 1 section, 2 sections, 3 sections. Are they all the same size? That's really important. Notice they're all equal sizes. When we're writing about a fraction, so there's my fraction bar line. If I can draw it better, there we go. Now, if I have 3 sections, that's how many I have total. Where am I writing that information? Am I writing it on the top of the fraction or the bottom of the fraction? The bottom. That's how many I have. I have 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. That's my denominator. Maybe you remembered it, maybe you didn't. No worries. All right, now I colored in some of these sections here with a pink. How many of those sections did I color in pink? Let me ask it again. How many sections did I color in pink? Let's look. Here's 1 section, 2 sections, 3 sections. So if I colored in 3 sections pink, where should I write that information at? Right on the top of a fraction. That's how many I have. Okay, that's how many I have colored in. So there were 3 sections total. I colored in all 3, so we had all 3 sections for us. Does anybody remember what the top of a fraction is called? Numerator. Yeah, I know some of y'all said it. Numerator. All right, numerator. And we're going to talk about that more in a moment. But to understand what this means, the way that you can say this is 3/3. 3/3. Can you say that? 3/3. Okay. What it also means is that we have 3 out of 3. 3 out of the 3 were colored in. That's how many we have. Okay. The way that you could see this written is this could be written as 3/3. 3/3. All right. Just kind of getting our feet wet here with fractions. We've got more videos coming for you. We're going to talk about numerator and denominator. We're going to look at more example problems, partition them, break them up, all of that good stuff. Hang with us. Make sure you have that fresh notebook because you're going to need it. All right, we've got a lot of things to cover with fractions. Super pumped that you joined me today. Make sure you keep an eye out for more videos coming soon. Click the like and subscribe button as we continue our journey, making math understandable and challenging. Mr. C, out.